Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be starting my new vlog for the month of January. So I have a few books that I still need from my TBR list for this month. I have 4 to be exact that I haven't gotten to yet, which are these 4. So we have Murder on Mystique by Anne Glenconner. This is a thriller. And then I have a YA thriller, which is The Ivies by Alexa Dawn, which I'm very excited to start because I think it's going to be exactly my kind of vibe right now. So this might be my next pick. Then I also have a sci-fi, which is The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson. And finally, I have Beartown by Frederick Backman, which is the author of Anxious People, which I read last year and adored. And I basically bought this book for my mom in French, and I think she's gonna be ready in a week to start reading it, but I did tell her that I needed to read it this month, so I think I'm gonna start a little bit earlier than her. So I'm probably gonna be starting with these 2, and these are the 2 first books that I'm gonna be picking this week. And then the other book that I did start that is not on my TBR at the moment is Helter Skelter, which is the true story of the Manson murders. And this was a book written in the 70s, I think, like after the murders. Yes, the murders happened in 69. I actually don't know where it says when this book is from, but I'm pretty sure it's like from the 70s. So basically this is about the true story of the Manson murders, like the title says. And I also have it in audiobook and on my Kindle, which is why I started this one, because it was one of the few that I had on my Kindle that I was actually motivated to start reading recently. And so when I was on the tube, I had to commute into work at some point, so I started this one, and it is gruesome. It really tells it like it is. It's very interesting, and I didn't know a lot of the details of what happened back in the days, so I'm very interested and fascinated by the topic, so I'm going to continue reading it. What's interesting is I'm reading this off the back of just finishing Cultish, which was all about cults. And obviously Manson himself didn't actually kill anyone. He made other people do his dirty work for him, which is why he's very much considered on par with cult leaders. So I'm going to be very interested to know what happens in this story, because I actually don't know a lot of the details of it, based off my newfound knowledge from reading Cultish.
The 2 sets of detectives had one thing in common, however. Though to date the LaBianca team had interviewed some 150 persons, the Tate investigators more than twice that, neither was much closer to solving the case than when the bodies were first discovered.
Today is Saturday, 22nd of January, and I have not read much, so I have a lot of catching up to do before the end of the month. So, what's up with my reading? I have read a little bit of The Ivies, that's the one I started, and I am only page 63, so I'm not very far, but I am enjoying it, and it is a fast read. It is a YA thriller novel, so it's very fun and very fast-paced, so I think I should be able to read it within this weekend. I am late, however, in starting Beartown, because now my mom has started it, and I still have not, so there's that. However, I also did make a lot of progress on Helter Skelter. I am currently page 122, and it's mental. Like, it's absolutely crazy. This was not part of my TBR. I just decided to pick it up because I have the audiobook and I have the Kindle book, and I think I was commuting at some point and I was like, what do I want to read next? And what do I have on my Kindle, on my phone? So I ended up picking this one because I knew I could continue listening to the audiobook while I'm working every now and then. However, it is spooky as fuck because the murders in this is obviously based off the real life murders that happened. It is really gross and scary and disgusting, not gory, but just kind of like the idea of these murders is disgusting to me. I don't even know how to explain, because I read a lot of true crime stuff and I read a lot of fake crime stuff. I like thrillers in general, and I do enjoy listening to true crime podcasts and reading books about true crime and all that, but this is probably one of the most shocking ones that I have ever heard of. I don't even know why it shocks me so much more than some of the other stuff that I have like watched, like in docuseries from Netflix and stuff. Some of them have been absolutely horrendous, but this just shocks me to my core. So yeah, if you want to feel that, feel free to pick this up. It is really well written. I was surprised because it's very old. It was written in the 70s, so not that long after the murders happened. But the beginning really reads like the beginning of a TV show, or a movie. You can really imagine the scene. And it's all based off real stuff, but I don't think it's Hollywoodized, but I think it's litericized, as in like it's been put into wording that makes it very interesting and fascinating, and you want to know what happens next, and you feel like you're in a movie or like in the scene. So well written so far, really enjoying it, and not that enjoying is the right word, but you get what I mean. The Ivies, on the other hand, is completely fiction. It is about a group of young girls who are all on their last year, I believe, of high school, and they're like on a campus type of environment, so that they have dorms and stuff in this really elitist school or something, and they call themselves the Ivies. There's 5 of them who all want to apply to a certain Ivy school. So each of them is assigned an Ivy school, and they're meant to stay in their lane, basically, and only apply to that one. But our main character decided to go ahead and apply to Harvard because that's her dream school, even though she was meant to be Penn. And the leader of the gang is the one who was meant to be Harvard. And when she doesn't get in, she's like, who the fuck applied to Harvard? And our main character is like, she can't know that it was me. She can absolutely not know that it was me. So this is the beginning so far. I'm pretty sure murder has happened, but we just don't know it yet because one of the girls disappeared, and she's also one of the ones that applied to Harvard and got in, just like our main character. So, except that she decided to tell the main girl that she did, unlike our main character. So basically, I have a very high suspicion that that girl is now dead. I don't know whether, it feels like it would be such an obvious choice to have the main queen be the killer. So I feel like it won't be her, but it's going to make for a very interesting twist. So yeah, I'm looking forward to reading this. I also love that it's written by a YouTuber that I genuinely enjoy the writing advice of. I'd say Alexa Dunn is one of the only writing/author tubers out there that has given advice that I've generally thought was really, really useful, because a lot of her writing advice isn't so much about writing itself, but she gives a lot of advice on how to get into the publishing world and querying and stuff like that. And she generally gives useful advice because she herself has been published multiple times now. Now, the last book that I decided to pick up randomly, because obviously I'm going to pick up all the books that are not on my TBR instead of the ones that are on my TBR. So I bought recently Story Genius, and I've started reading it just a tiny bit, 35 pages of it or so. So it is a craft book about writing, and I think it's interesting so far, but I haven't learned much from it yet, but I think it's coming. I think I'm about to finally get into the heart of the advice, the things that are a little bit more practical advice, and things like step 1, do this, step 2, do this. But at the moment, it's a lot of context and storytelling behind the Story Genius story. I don't know how to explain that better, but it's a lot of here's what a story is, here's what a story isn't, here are the methods that are myth, and things like that. So it's interesting-ish, but so far not really getting into the craft part of it, and that's what I'm mostly interested in. When I read this kind of book, sometimes I feel like someone was like, well, if you want to publish a book, you gotta write so that it's at least this many pages, and so they write a bunch of nonsense around the actual advice that would probably fit in half this size. So yeah, but I'm curious, yeah. And now, not things that I have been reading, but things that I have bought recently. I thought I would do a mini book haul here, since I just received a bunch of books. I just received the special edition, this brand new re-release of the Marionettes, which is written by Katie Wismer, and she also has a YouTube channel, and that's where I know her from as well. I really like her writing vlogs, and basically, I believe that this is contemporary fantasy. It has witches, so that's what I'm assuming, but I don't know much about it. And I'm very interested in reading it. I read 1 page of it and I was like, wow, I love her writing style. I could learn a lot from this. So I decided to buy it. And she has a second book out already, and I think she's writing currently the 3rd one in the trilogy. I think it is a trilogy. Next, I bought this book by Alice Feeney, Rock, Paper, Scissors. I literally have no idea what this is about. I think it's just, I know vaguely that the story is like a thriller with isolation, which I kind of really enjoy those kinds of thrillers, and I just love the cover. So I just really wanted to buy it, and I've seen a lot of people talking about it. So I could definitely put this one for future TBR games that I'm going to play. This will be one of those, I know nothing about this book, or I was influenced by booktubers and that's why I bought this book. And then I bought a Flickr in the Dark by Stacy Willingham, which is another one that I don't know much about, but I really like the cover and the synopsis sounded good. It's another thriller. I do believe it is adult. When Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small Louisiana town. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth and try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. Now, 20 years later, Chloe is a psychologist in Baton Rouge and getting ready for her wedding. While she finally has a fragile grasp on the happiness she's worked so hard to achieve, she sometimes feels as out of control of her own life as the troubled teens who are her patients. So when a local teenage girl goes missing and then another, the terrifying summer comes crashing back. Is she paranoid, seeing parallels from her past that aren't actually there? Or, for the second time in her life, is Chloe about to unmask a killer? That sounds spooky and fun, and I'm excited to read it. And then finally, the last book that I got a hold of recently is Hail Mary by Ware. I don't think I really have to introduce this book. A lot of people have bought this book, which is why it was hard for me to get a hold of it, because I was late in the game of buying it, and I think it was out of stock almost everywhere. So I think I got it from a secondary seller on Amazon, so it wasn't Amazon itself. But basically, this is by the author of The Martian, and I've heard that it's very similar to The Martian. I've enjoyed the movie, I've never read the book, but I heard that this book was really, really good. Loads of people enjoyed it so much, and apparently the audiobook is really good as well, so I'm probably gonna get the audiobook as well and read this one, you know, hybrid style, sometimes physical, sometimes audiobook. That's it for this mini book haul, and that is it for this update. I will let you guys know once I have read a little bit more, because currently I have not read much. Hello again. So today is Saturday the 29th of January, and I think this is going to be a very short non-update type of update because I've basically not been reading anything in the past week. I've had a really, really tough work week in the sense that I've had a few late nights. It's been hard, and it's been hard mentally. Like, not gonna lie, I had a couple of panic attacks and cried a lot. So there we are. It's just not been great, and I've not been wanting to read anything afterwards. Like, first of all, most of the time didn't really have time. And second, I'm also not loving Beartown. Like, it's very slow, and that's what I decided to pick up. I don't even think I mentioned that I had picked this one up as well. I am page like 66 or something, and not very far. Haven't moved forward very much with it, but I did want to pick it up because my mom picked it up, and my friend Leanne as well picked it up, and so I wanted to make sure that I read it at the same time as them. And I'm not loving it, and my friend Leanne either, actually. She told me she was thinking of DNFing it. So it's just not the same as Anxious People. I feel very betrayed by people on the internet because every single person that I was talking to that I was like, yeah, I've loved Anxious People and I want to pick up Beartown next by the same author because I love that one so much. And a lot of people were like, oh my god, you're gonna love Beartown. Beartown is so great, blah, 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 love it. And it's not the same at all. Like, I don't understand why people were like, you're gonna love it, when I specifically said I loved Anxious People, unless they have not read Anxious People and they're just like, I love Frederick Backman because of Beartown from the start. In which case, fair enough, but not for me. I said from the beginning I was a little bit worried about it because it's about more serious topics, and indeed, it's not funny. There's not a single moment that I have found funny so far. It's the opposite of Anxious People, and it's also very slow-paced, and that's one thing I hate, is slow-paced books. Anxious People was not slow-paced. It had a lot of POVs, just like Beartown, but it was not slow-paced. And Beartown right now, there was a whole 20 pages at least where one character was meant to go and fire another character, and it took for him to get into his car, drive his kids to school. Every single scene you get of him getting that anxiety of like, oh, I have to get to the office on time, there's a big meeting, blah blah. And then you get the POV of the other guy who's going to get fired, and he knows he's going to get fired, and you have those thoughts, and it takes 20 whole pages at least, and it still hasn't happened. I don't think it's happened yet. And like, I'm page 66. What the fuck? And it's just about hockey. It's like, it's literally, if you don't care for hockey, you will not care for this book. I thought I would be able to read a book about a topic I don't care about, because that's what books that are well written are. It's, you know, and this isn't to say this isn't well written, like the writing style is good. I still like Frederick Backman's writing style, even translated in English. It's just that it's not compelling, and it's not something that makes me want to get into a story about this topic I've never cared about before. While there have been other books that I have read in the past that I was like, that's not normally something I would enjoy, but this person has made it so compelling that I'm actually enjoying myself. It's not the case here. So I'm just so disappointed, so sad. And also it's, I think, participated slightly in my reading slump of the moment. I think the one that I've made the most progress with is Helter Skelter, because it's the audiobook that I'm listening to. I'm not actually reading it physically, and so I can listen to it while working, so that's fine. And I'm currently page 266. I think I'm further than that. I just haven't caught up with the physical format. But yeah, I'm about 200 to 300 pages in, and it's a thick boy. It's very long. The audiobook is super, super long. But it's really interesting. It's fascinating because I actually started reading it without realizing that it was written from the district attorney who put the puzzle together. So I didn't even know that. I just thought I was a writer who was writing about the story, and that was it. But actually we get like the person who's telling us the story is also someone who was involved in catching these killers. So very interesting, very gruesome and dark, and kind of, I don't know what it is about this. It's just spooking me out more than most true crime books that I have read. And then the other one that I have made progress with is The Ivies. I am really enjoying this, but I've just had no time to continue reading it, so I've stopped page 122. Yeah, so I'm page 122 in this one, and it's really fun. It's like fast-paced enough, and I like the way that the main character is, in the sense that some of these types of thrillers, sometimes they like to play around with the whole unlikable main characters, and I see how Alexa Dawn has done this a little bit. Like, the main character is trying to tell us that, yeah, she's been bitchy a little bit, she's done this and this and that, but you still kind of want to root for her. And I think that's a well done main character. Like, I enjoy a main character who's complex enough that they have genuine flaws and have generally maybe done something stupid in the past and aren't all that likable, that they have things that you might disagree with, but they're still likable enough that you want to root for them, and you're still like hoping that they're gonna get out of this alive and figure it out and all that. So I'm enjoying this, and I'm liking the way all the other characters are written as well. I might try and read tomorrow morning. I also am seeing my partner's family because they're coming over to drop off their pooch, because they're going on a holiday for a week and they're leaving the dog with us, and I'm so excited. I think it's going to be great for my mental health as well, so I'm very happy that I'm going to be keeping a pooch here for a week, but that doesn't leave me much time to read, so I'm not quite sure whether I'm going to have time to finish any of these books within this part 2 vlog of January. And then the other one that I'm reading, but I'm not really talking that much about it in this vlog because it's more for my writing vlog, is I am reading Story Genius. I'm going slow and steady because I am doing the exercises that are in the book at the same time. So it's not so much a book that I'm trying to finish fast or anything like that. Hello again. Today is the 1st of February, and I am pretty much here to tell you how much I have failed at the second vlog in the month of January, and I'm just gonna end it here. Like, there's no point in me pretending like I'm gonna read a book today and I haven't, you know, like, it's already the next month, so I failed. I also feel like, because this is such a failed vlog that I don't even know whether I'm gonna post or not, I'm not gonna bother taking my new microphone here and setting it up, just because I'm like, first of all, I'm making life harder for myself by doing these things when I'm like, I could just be vlogging normally and only using the mic whenever I'm doing sit-down videos. But let me just let you know where I ended up with by the end of the month of January. So I did make some progress on this book, which is Story Genius, but it's mostly part of my writing vlog for this month rather than reading vlog. So I'm gonna update you guys into my writing vlog on where I got to with this book. Then I didn't make any more progress with this one since last time because I had stopped around page 266. Still enjoying it, still gonna finish it, but I'll take my time with it, and it's mostly in an audiobook format for me. Then didn't make any more progress with the Ivies. I did stop page 122, really enjoying this one. It's literally, it's not that I'm in a reading slump, it's more so that I'm in a slump. As in, I feel like work has taken over and I'm finding it difficult to find time in the evening to do things for myself. And recently I've had to pick and choose, and in the last couple of weeks I've just chosen writing over reading. It's just been what my mind has been, you know, wanting to do. Not reading for some reason, even though writing should be technically considered harder for my brain, but for some reason this is what I've been wanting to do. Bear Town, haven't made any more progress. Last time I stopped at page 66 and I am going to continue reading it, if only because my mom is reading it. However, my friend has told me now that she's decided to DNF it, which I totally understand because it's really different from what we expected from having read Anxious People. I think my mom feels kind of the same way, but also she's fine with it, like she's fine to continue reading it. So I don't know whether she's going to enjoy it by the end or not, but I do want to continue reading it, if only so I can discuss it with her. And then these two actually never got to start. So I had Murder on Mystique by Anne Glencomer and The Space Between Worlds by Micaiah Johnson, and I'm just not going to roll them over onto February because there's no point. I just feel like in terms of how I feel about TBRs, I like to start fresh a little bit. Otherwise I feel like a lot more obligated to read certain books and it just doesn't feel as fun anymore. So that's it. I had a very successful first half of the month, I gotta say, in terms of reading. It's just not happening for this second half of the month, and I'm sorry this vlog is a little bit shit because it's literally just me updating you every week and saying like, I haven't read anything anymore, sorry. So this is where I'm gonna stop now, but I am now going to film my TBR game for this month of February as well, so I hope I'll catch you guys there. If you did enjoy this video somehow, please leave a like, leave a comment, tell me what you think about reading slumps and life slumps in general. I always try to respond to comments down below as well, so please do leave a comment there. Consider subscribing, ring that bell, all that jazz, and I will see you guys in the next one.